Welcome to Linux Festival 2013. We have been trying to get this thing up for the past 1.5 months. And like I said, I'm Ishwon, a Linux enthusiast and an open source advocate. In the next slides, I'm going to explain what the thing is about open source advocate and the LC port, which means local coordinator. Okay, let's get back into a flashback. What's Linux? Some 21, 22 years ago, there was a guy named Linus Torvalds. He was a genius. He created something called Linux. Now, many people think when they hear about Linux, they think, what the heck is that? Is it an operating system? Is it a whole distribution? Is it just an application? Well, the guy back then, he created only a kernel. Even the guys who use Windows, they should know that even the Windows operating system and even the, how do you call that? The Macintosh stuff, I don't really know. Even Mac, the Mac thing. Even the Mac thing has a kernel. So Linus Torvalds, some 20-something years back, he created the kernel. And he used an open license, a GNU license, and released his code, so that people, developers, programmers from around the world could contribute to his code. After 20 years, or 21 or 22, or whatever it is, this project has become so huge that it's being used everywhere. Wait, if everywhere, how come you guys are not using? How many among you uses Linux? Just raise your hands. 1, 2, we got some people. How many people here uses internet at home? Mighty, ADSL, whatever. I'm sure there's no one on dial-up these days. All right. Almost the whole of the... Sorry? Okay. How many people are still using dial-up? Wow, we got one guy who is still using dial-up. Let's clap for him. So, when I asked about how many people are using Linux at home, I got almost 1/3 of this room. When I asked about the Linux Windows part, 3/4 of this room raised their hands. No, not Windows part. The Linux part, all of the people raised their hands. So guys, all of you are using Linux at home. Your Orange Livebox, your Netgear router is using Linux. So, even if you are on your Windows machine at home, indirectly you have Linux that is giving you that internet connection. Not giving, but facilitating that internet connection. So, I talked about the genius part. Let me see, it's my slide. I forget what I wrote. So, yes. Normally, after the 20 years, now we can see that Linux is powering almost 96% of the top 500 supercomputers of the world. And in my next slide, oh, okay, it's here. Can you read on the slide? Is it visible for everyone? No. Okay, I'll try to translate it. Well, in the top 500 supercomputers of the world, we got 414 running on Linux. It could be a customized version on Linux, but it's Linux. We got 20 supercomputers running Cray Linux. Again, it's Linux. We got 13 running SUSE Linux Enterprise, 11 running CentOS. That's a lot. In this list of 500 supercomputers, can someone in the front row tell me how many Windows machines in this one? Just come near the stage and tell me.
No, wait. Why are you so anti-Windows?
I did not hear your question. Can you repeat?
Why are you so anti-Windows?
Sorry, I don't get you well.
Why are you so anti-Windows?
I forget it. I can't hear you.
Okay.
No, someone in the front row. You, cameraman, can you just tell me how many machines or how many supercomputers running Windows? Okay, only 2. It's not I'm bashing against Windows. I'm very friendly with the Windows guys. I've got one of my friends, Microsoft guy, in this audience, so it's not a bashing. It's just I want to show you that. Let me tell you a small story. Something like 2 years ago, I was attending an IT fair at University of Technology, Mauritius. And in that room there was around 60 or 70 people, students. Most of them in their forms, they had written that after their studies, they want to become network engineer. Some said software developers. None of them said system administrators or system engineers. So I was trying to enlighten them. What is system administration and what is system engineering? So again, in that room, I asked how many people are using Windows and how many people are using Linux. Almost the whole room lifted their hands for Windows. Some said Windows XP, some said Windows 7. There were only 3 or 4 people who said, okay, I'm using Linux. Because in one of my modules, they talk about programming, so I had to do a couple of steps on Ubuntu. Okay, so I asked them a question. I say, after your BSc, you get your degree, let's say there is some kind of project where NASA decides to take 50 Mauritians from here, 50 people from Mauritius. And you are one of the lucky people to go and work at NASA. Now, those guys who are running Windows, I asked them, if you go at NASA and we put you in front of one of the supercomputers, you get the console. Do you think you can work on that? They said, no way. I said, all right. Now, there were the Linux guys. I asked them, okay, you're using Ubuntu at home. Good. You're doing compilation and practice stuffs on that, writing your C code, C++ code. Perfect. Now, if I put you in front of the NASA supercomputer mainframe or the console there, do you think you can work? They said, I don't think so. I said, why? How do you move a file using the command line at home? They told me the command. Then how the hell do you think you're going to move a file using the console on that supercomputer that is running Linux? It's again the same command. So the operating system that you're using here and the operating system that are powering the web servers around the world and no, not supercomputers, the distribution. The distribution that is also powering those supercomputers are the same commands work. So that was kind of enlightening the students. And we look nice in this picture. Well, this is the Linux user group Meta. That's our official name. But in official announcement, we usually call it Linux user group of Mauritius. And that's not our whole team. There are a lot of missing people in that. And what's the Linux user group? I didn't get time to listen to all the speakers since morning. So did any of the speakers mention the LUG or the Linux user group? Did they mention? No idea. Okay. Normally the Linux user group is a user group, as it says, in Mauritius, where we have people, professionals, programmers, developers, system engineers, system admins, geeks, and students from around the island who meet up and they discuss about Linux. They discuss about open source. They discuss how they can use these applications, these distributions in their daily activities or at work. But there's one thing which is common among all these that I just said. It's that we believe in knowledge sharing. We believe that if I know something, that thing can be improved by sharing with the other guy. Because maybe when I share my knowledge with him, he can improve it. He can make it better. And I get a better knowledge from him. So that's the spirit that we have within the Linux user group of Mauritius. Well, that's our website there, at ugm.org. If you want to have more information, read about what we do in life. We do talk about non-Linux stuffs also, sometimes.
How do we pronounce it? Open what?
Wait. Before you say something bad, I'm just going to pronounce it for you.
Okay.
It's OpenSUSE.
Oh.
Okay, cool. I've got some very bad experience about this thing. Once, when I was working for my previous employer, my manager told me, go and do a presentation about Linux with the non-technical stuff, just to give them some knowledge. What is Linux? What is the thing that the system admins and system engineers do? I went and I did the presentation. I told them about the different Linux distributions that exist in the world. Ubuntu, CentOS, Red Hat, OpenSUSE, and everything. Then to make sure that they grasp that knowledge, I gave them a feedback form. Now, when my manager was correcting the form, he was laughing. He said, "What did you teach them?" I said, "Linux." He said, "Then why?" Someone answers, there was a question, which of the Linux distributions you know? And there was one girl who didn't remember Ubuntu, didn't remember Red Hat, not even the Debian. She wrote Open, O-P-E-N, S-U-C-E. Now, how the hell do I pronounce that? That was not the kind of word that I told them in the presentation, but anyway, I was proud that at least this way you can remember the project. Well, so what's OpenSUSE?